How's it going, everybody? My name is Artorigold, and today I'm going to be going over another user-submitted VOD, this time from the point of view of a Platinum Mercy, and I believe later in the game he swaps to Reaper. So one of the things I like to talk about with Mercy is she's definitely gotten nerfed, and she's a lot more situational than she used to be. I think one of the biggest strengths to Mercy isn't really her healing, because that's been nerfed, like, a lot, but rather now her damage boost, her mobility, and her resurrectability is probably more of her strengths than anything. And I think she works not on every map, but she works on a lot of maps that require verticality, lots of upward mobility, and she works really well to go for things. She works really well with Pharah. Okay, so first off, I would say this is a very risky res. I think one of the things that most Mercy players, when it comes to being better at Mercy, I think you need to work on a few things, and that's where to position yourself, where to fly, when to go for a res, when to not go for a res, and then the other big thing is your ultimate usage. And those are really the things that separates the bad Mercies from the good Mercies, because all around she doesn't take the most mechanical skill to play, but she does require a lot of decision making. So here we see our, I think it was the Moira. The Moira got picked off, and she's really out of position. Personally, I wouldn't go for this res. I wouldn't, but considering I think you're at the Platinum level, you can probably get away with it. And there isn't anybody on the high ground, which is really good. If somebody was like right here, then you would definitely be dead. They could just shoot your face off right here. But you also see they're not pushed up past this corner. This corner right here, there's not really anybody past it. So I mean, you're kind of safe, but I would say all around, this is still a very risky res. And right here, this is where you definitely messed up. I mean, you get away with it, but I still think that this res was extremely risky. A McCree is right in range to just flashbang you during this. I'm actually really surprised the McCree didn't flashbang you or kill you. I do think one thing that you did, which was really good, is that when you res, you're not really able to move away from the position, but one thing that you are able to control is where your head is being. So, for example, instead of looking this way and staring right at the McCree, it would make it much easier for him to shoot you in your face. And I think what you did here was really smart. Instead of looking at him, you turned your body away. And by turning your face this way, it makes it so it's your back of your head that he has to aim at, which makes it a lot more difficult for him to land a headshot. And that's something you want to do as Mercy. I think that's really smart, and I like that. And I think ultimately, that's the reason why you were able to get away and live from that situation, is because you were able to move your head. If you were looking in a wrong direction right there, he easily would have been able to shoot you in the face, I feel like. I'm really surprised the McCree didn't flashbang you there. I'm glad that you got away with it for free, but I think in the future, I wouldn't go for those reses. And pocketing a Pharah whenever she's using an ultimate is really good. You want to stay on heals or damage boost depending on the damage that she's taking. Pharah is very much your partner in crime whenever you're playing Mercy. I think the only times a Mercy is extremely good and a must pick is when there is a Pharah on your team. Okay, so your ultimate usage is pretty good. I think switching to damage here is also really useful because you're not taking too much damage. I think the one thing to note of your ultimate with Mercy is that it's decent. It replies like some AoE healing if they're all grouped up. So using your ultimate in that situation, it can be really good. But it also can act like a mini supercharger, kind of like Orissa's ultimate, where you can just damage boost everybody if they're grouped up. But I think another good reason to use your ult would be, I think you should have flown to your team over there. Yeah, your Moira really needs heals. I think you took a little too long to fly over there. If you healed the Moira from earlier, oh, that's a risky res. That was a panic res. Because you had the disadvantage there, it was really difficult. I think one thing that's really important to do, and I can't tell if you're doing it in this, but whenever you go for a res, I think it's extremely important that you call it out for your teammates to come help you. For example, if you have a D.Va or a Zarya or another healer, you want to communicate to them that you're going to go for this res. Can you defense matrix me? Can you bubble me? Can you shield me? Or can you pocket heal me? Using your pistol here, I think, was the wrong move. I think you kind of let your soldier die. I think your soldier was AFK, though. Maybe he deserved it for going AFK. But I think if you held down your left click here, I think you would have been able to keep your soldier alive. It's hard to say, but either all, I think it would have been better than trying to pistol down a Moira. I mean, you're not able to kill a Moira or pressure a Moira enough to get her off the soldier. Going for this res is good, but if he's AFK, then that's really bad. Oh, okay, he's here. Okay, so it was a good res. That was definitely a bet, because the soldier was definitely, like, AFK, I'm not sure what he was doing. Maybe he was grabbing a drink or something. Next time that you're looking to res someone who dies from being AFK or something, I probably wouldn't res him, because he might just be AFK and die again if you do that. So here, I don't think the pistol should be used as much. I'm not sure why you took the pistol out there. Maybe that was a misclick or something. But I think the Mercy pistol can be good in some situations. But I feel like you probably, in most situations, the Mercy pistol should probably never be taken out. It's one of those very niche things that only works in some like crazy, weird 1v1 situations. Or maybe if you have your ultimate, you can go for the Zenyatta or something. If your team doesn't need like a whole lot of heals. But even then, I feel like if your team doesn't need healing, instead of taking out the pistol to do damage, I think it might be better to just stay on damage boost, because that's more potential damage for a Pharah. Like if you're damage boosting a Pharah, I think that's way more efficient, because that helps the Pharah build an ult charge quicker and more potential pick chances. So here, I really like the Valkyrie with the supercharger, and what I would like to do here, or what I would like to see, is some damage boost instead of doing the healing, because you're not really taking that much damage. It's like Moira is the only thing hitting you behind the shield. Other than that, they're not taking a whole lot of damage. If you use your damage boost on Mercy, and it will stack with the Orisa supercharger, which is really good. Going for these reses are really good, but I've noticed that the soldier is dying a lot, and I don't think he's putting a whole lot of value. And I think as Mercy, you should have targets that you, like priority targets for your res. And so if I were you, I would probably stop resing the soldier as much, or if you had a choice between two different targets, say the soldier and another tank healer or the Pharah, I think at this point in the game, the soldier has not proved himself to be as valuable as the other members of your team. So if you had the opportunity to choose between the soldier and somebody else, I think in this instance, I would choose to res whoever else died instead. And I think as Mercy, you should recognize who has the most value on your team and try to focus resing those people over the others. Because if you see somebody isn't really performing that well in the team, it'll be good to res them if like they're the only one who's dying. But if they're not performing that well, I think it might be better to res a different person if you had that decision. But if you don't have that decision and Soldier is that one who keeps getting picked over and over again, you might as well res him if it's a safe, easy res, because that's good value. But if you had, you know, that decision between a tank and the Soldier in this instance, I would choose the tank, definitely. So as you can see, you get your Valkyrie pretty quickly, and I would use it in some instances just to allow you to fly. Like, it's good to use to try and keep all your team alive, but it doesn't really add too much to the single target healing. It just basically enables a lot of AoE healing, which can be really good. So here you see the Soldier is dead again, and at this point I do think the Soldier is overextending and dying way too much, and risking your life to res him could be really bad. I don't think he's really proved that he's worth the res this much. Really good res though, you're able to get it off. If you can get alive here, that'd be huge. See now, it was really risky to go for that res. I think looking back at that, it was kind of a more risky play, and the Soldier has definitely not proved that he's worth those overextended reses. If it's somebody who's been doing really well in your game, then maybe it's worth to overextend to res them, especially if it's like if it was your main tank or something. I think if you're resing like a Reinhardt or something, that's always really good value, because Reinhardt typically will get killed. I mean, if the Reinhardt's doing his job, he'll probably take a lot of damage and maybe die first in the fight. And being able to res him would be a lot of value, because it's really difficult for an enemy team to take out a main tank really quickly. Unless they have like some ults or something. But if you res him, then he'll have like his 200 health shield back, and he'll be able to just sit there and right click, and even though he's might be resed in like a weird position. So yeah, resing a Moira would be super huge. One of the things that I also like to do with resing is I actually have a hotkey on my mouse that changes the sensitivity from low to high really quickly. And what a lot of advanced Mercy's little tip that they like to do is they have that hotkey, and as soon as they go for that res, they turn the sensitivity really high up, and then they just make really quick left, right, just crazy movements, and they spin around in a circle extremely quickly. And even though you're kind of standing still, it makes it really difficult to, it's weird. It makes it a little harder to hit, even though you're not really moving, you're just going in a circle. It makes it so it's harder to hit your head in kind of a weird way, and your hitbox in your head is much harder to hit in the back, and it just makes it really difficult. So if you're really looking to try and climb as Mercy, I highly recommend having a hotkey set up where you can turn your sensitivity really crazy high and low from the touch of a button. And going for a res on the sphere I think would be really good, as long as you don't die. The Moira ult on you is actually really good. I like that because Moira ult doesn't have too much value, and just using it to pocket you to keep you alive during a res is really good because you'll be able to stay alive, and that Zarya was like 1 HP, so it helped you get that kill. Using your pistol in this situation is really good. I think if anybody is out of position, like this Widowmaker, I'm not really sure what she was doing because she had a good line of sight on all of you, right? But then she kind of just, for some reason, she just drops from this ground right here and then just goes on the... I don't know what she was thinking. She was on the high ground and she had a good line of sight. And, I mean, you weren't able... She wasn't really in immediate danger. I'm not sure why she dropped here. That was a really big mistake. That was a really big mistake by Widowmaker. I'm not sure what she was thinking there. But in this situation, using her pistol on her is really good. Yeah, she's not able to do anything about that. I'm not sure why she got out of position. Ooh, using your damage boost right there was definitely bad because the soldier was visoring. And flying out of the range of the Orisa shield is something you should never do if the enemy is ulting like that. So definitely keep in mind what enemy abilities are going on. I really do recommend that you turn the game volume up, don't listen to any music while you play, and being able to learn what the voice lines of every ultimate are going to be extremely helpful for you to know when an ability is being used and ultimate is being used by the enemy team. So overall, that was a really good defense. Things that I think you need to work on is understanding the value of every teammate as Mercy, who is worth rezzing over other people. In that instance, I think you saw that the soldier was dying almost every time, and you overextended a little too much to try and res him. I know it sounds kind of like weird to be biased on your res targets, but you really should be. You need to prioritize resing people that need it more. If you see someone who's just feeding, basically, then it's probably better to just save your res for somebody else, especially if they're overextended. With your pistol usage, I think pistol can be decent in some situations, but I think you used it in one situation that I wouldn't. Know when to use your pistol, and most situations the pistol is not very good to use, and overall it's better to just use a damage boost instead. Gaining ult charge through left click healing is always better than gaining ult charge through your pistol. You can maybe shoot your pistol at like a choke point when there's a lot of downtime in a game before the enemy starts attacking again and you're on defense. But overall, I think it's better to just damage boost somebody who can spam at the choke instead. But overall, I think that was a really good round of Mercy. So now we're going to be on Reaper because it seems like somebody else took Mercy and Ana. So switching the DPS here is good. You don't want to go 3 healers. So Reaper is an extremely strong close range fighter with his shotguns. He's really good at flanking with his teleport, and he's good at engaging and disengaging. His Wraith form is actually really strong. So I wouldn't trade blows with Reaper like that. I think playing Reaper, you need to flank a lot. I think this is a decent flank route from Reaper, but they already know you're there. I mean, they just got done shooting at you right here, and you backed off, you're low health. So here, I don't really like this engage. I think that they kind of know that you're here, you're really low. I would have healed up, and I would have tried to attack them from a different way. I think one thing about Reaper is you need to understand the map and where you can teleport and safe areas to teleport. The left side of the map has that fence that's really difficult for you to teleport past. What I like to do on Reaper, I think it's better to go to the right side. There's these little outside area of the map that nobody goes to behind this building, and then you can walk around and get behind this way, and then you could try and get behind the enemy. It takes a long time to flank as Reaper. You're not very fast. You have to teleport, but basically you're going to be walking. You have to really have to take a long time to flank, but at the very beginning of the game, it's a lot more value to do that, and especially because you're running a Bastion, and if you have a Bastion, the enemy team should be focused on the payload and what's happening there. So this gives you a huge opportunity to try and flank, and then from there, you'll be able to attack them as soon as they all start concentrating on the Bastion, and that's when you're going to start shooting them in the back. So yeah, your teleport's decent there. Going the left side is okay. You got on the high ground, you got over the fence, which is good. This is kind of the bad thing about this situation is your Bastion, as you can see, is already dead. And I think when flanking, the best thing you can do as Reaper is wait for a distraction or wait for the enemy to like be really distracted and shoot at something. And the Bastion being protected by an Orisa shield over here or something on the payload is one of the biggest things that you should wait for. So as Reaper, I think I would try to look, or wait even might be good. If you wait for the enemy or for your Bastion to get alive and set up again and then start pushing, I think that could be worth the patience here because you do have 3 minutes. I think waiting like 20 seconds for that to happen is all around as good. I like the crouch walking on this Hanzo though. The Hanzo has no idea you're here, and I think this is really good. The one thing I would take note here though is your team is kind of dying right now, so it's kind of risky. Really good. Really good. The only thing I would have done differently is I probably would have gotten a little bit closer, but I don't think it matters too much. You're able to kill him really easily. Going on this Orisa is really good. Aiming at the head hitbox, really good. So here you can definitely pressure this diva. You have the advantage. Waiting for the defense matrix is really good. I think leaving her out of mech is actually the right move too because it staggers her and she's completely useless as baby diva. Good use of Wraith form. I definitely agree with that. So one thing that you could do here, that's good actually. Yeah, getting aggressive is extremely good if they're down. I think here I would probably Wraith form away. Yeah. Wraith form and heal away is really basic, really easy to understand. You just have to make sure not to do... So this teleport might be a little risky. I would probably stay on point and focus on the point in this situation because right now you don't have the point. You have your ultimate. I actually even recommend that you just wait for your ultimate. Like, using your ultimate on the payload in this instance to just capture it can be really good. I think you get your ult really quickly as Reaper, especially if you're able to get a lot of damage in on tanks. That's pretty good ult. I like that. That was a really good ult. That was really good. I think you already had the fight, though. I think you already won the fight, but I like it. I like it. It really helps stagger, and you can get that soldier, which is actually an even bigger stagger. And by completely killing the enemy team like that with your ult, you're able to now get set up somewhere at a really nice flank position, which is exactly what you're doing. I like it. Staying crouched is really smart. They're not able to hear any of the footsteps. And here, just wait. I wouldn't drop. I would definitely wait to see where the enemy is being positioned, and I would also wait to see where, probably right when the payload gets around this corner is when I would try to attack them, because then immediately they're all going to be focused on the Bastion that's set up on payload. And once they're distracted by this Bastion and you start shooting them in the back, they're going to have a crazy tough time, because then they have to decide, okay, do I have to sit here and worry about this Bastion, or do I have to worry about the Reaper? And they're just sandwiched, you know? They're just stuck. They're flanked. And it's really bad position. It's really bad. So here, I'd definitely be patient. Okay, so now that they're on that corner, now you strike. That's perfect. And you have a McCree with you too, which is actually really great. And see, you don't even really need to try and fully commit to this, because all you need to do is just, you're basically like getting one kill, and then while they're distracted, they're going to be melted by this Bastion at the same time. And here, you can be aggressive as the Bastion cleans up the rest of the fight. I think that's really good. I think overall your Reaper is really good. I think you're doing a lot of right things with your flanks right now. Crouch walking, flanking, waiting to attack before the enemy, waiting to attack. Oh, definitely get out of there, you're low. You're doing a lot of things right though. You're utilizing your Bastion a lot, which is great. Yeah, teleporting where they can't see you is good. Oh, that was dangerous. That Hanzo came right for you. I definitely see some really good plays by your Reaper. I think your flanking is really good. Your crouch walking is really good. Oh, this is perfect. They're all grouped up. They're all distracted by a Bastion, and they have no idea that you're behind here. So this is the perfect situation for you. As soon as you get your ult, I would use it here. I would try to farm your ult and just use it. Bam. Perfect. Perfect. I can see why you submitted this clip. Achievement unlocked. Your Reaper is actually really good. You're doing everything right on Reaper. If you play like this as Reaper in all of your games, you will climb to Masters easily. So here, staying hidden is really good. I'd be careful. I think that jump was okay. I mean, it was a riskier jump. I think because you're at Plat, they didn't notice you. Like, look at the soldier. He's not even looking at you. He doesn't care. He's actually, the only thing in his mind right now is this bastion. So, I mean, I guess, look at this. He doesn't even, they still don't even look at you. Oh, the D.Va got like a 3-man bomb though. So this is a little riskier. When you go for kills like this, I think it's good to go for this Ana. But you're also down your Wraith form right now, and you just got down 4 people. So this is a riskier play, especially considering you don't have your Wraith. If you get this Ana and get away, that'd be huge. I don't know if I would keep going. Oh, yeah, it was close. I think I would have gotten that Ana kill, and then I would have Wraith formed out of there, gotten the Mega Health Pack or healed up, and then I would have re-engaged. I think pushing that soldier was a little bit more ambitious, a little greedy. I don't dislike it. I think if you were able to get closer to him before him noticing, then you would have been able to do more damage. Maybe shooting him a little too early gave you away, which could have been the bad thing. Decent teleport. I don't think they saw that. It was really good. Yeah, if you can get this Ana, that would be huge. Oh no, she lived like 1 HP before she got that sleep off. Overall, though, it was really good. Because you distracted her, she got killed by the McCree High Noon. So I think that was really good. You basically forced her over here. One of the things to note about Ana, she sleep darts you. She's not going to be able to solo kill you. Ana can't even kill, like, 200 health people by herself unless she gets help. So 250, pretty difficult for Ana to deal with. So I really like that. I think getting sleeped is unfortunate, but I think your team is providing such a good distraction on the front line that as long as you keep harassing and flanking as Reaper, you'll definitely find some success. Wow, look at you two. Look at those emotes. You almost died for it. Overall, really good. I think your Reaper game is really good. You're definitely better than the average Platinum player. You can definitely be, I would say you're definitely high Diamond Master Reaper right now. Your ultimate usage was really good. I think the only thing you did wrong was you got a little greedy on one of the pushes. I think you need to play around your Wraith form cooldown a little bit more, but I think you played really well on Reaper, and I was really impressed. The one thing I think you could work on, though, is just, I think if you wait a little bit with your Wraith form, and wait for that cooldown. It's not a very long, what is it, it's like 7-second cooldown? If you wait for that a little bit, I think you'll be a lot better off. Keep playing Reaper. Try to do that as much as you can. Keep those flanks up. Use your own team as a distraction, and you will definitely climb. Anyways, that's it for this VOD. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.